And flat out rough roads, going nowhere fast out there. Experts continue stressing that your best bet is to stay home. Some drivers regretting the decision to head out, getting stuck in the snow. The sleet and freezing rain keeps on coming down, and we've got an entire team spread out across the Triad to bring you what you need to know about the storm right now as we head into nighttime.
WFMY News 2 has team coverage of the winter weather, how the roads look, and the latest power outages.
We're joining you live on Facebook right now. Our crews are out so you can stay inside. And we've got a winter weather guide that includes important information about how to report a power outage if the lights go out, track road conditions, how to stay warm if there's a power outage, and so much more. You can even get the latest forecast and radar just by texting SAFETY to 336-379-5775. We'll send the link straight over to you. We also want to see your snow pictures. Text us your photos to 336-379-5775. Include where you took the photo or video, and we might feature it on air and online.
Let's get the latest update on the winter weather. Our chief meteorologist, Tim Buckley, joins us live now. Tim, how much longer will the sleet and the freezing rain be sticking around?
Well, I have some good news, to be honest with you. At the moment, we're in a bit of a break. And the last couple of hours for a lot of folks were really rough. Sleet, freezing rain, snow, that's one thing, but scary winds is quite another. A lot of us really do not enjoy that. Temperatures now are still cold, below freezing in most areas. Some of you have risen to 32, so that actually will prevent any more frozen precipitation in those areas. But I want to show you the wide radar first. We're looking at this winter storm pushing through Virginia and, of course, now out of North Carolina. It doesn't mean we're done completely, but we have this big dry gap now. We call it a dry slot in weather world. We're just kind of see a break for about 3-4 hours here where nothing happens, and that's really some good news, because if we still had this freezing rain or drizzle going on, we'd be able to get more ice on the trees. Doesn't seem likely to me, and that means the power outage risk is really going down. That's what we want to have happen, and that's what looks to be happening at the moment. It is still snowing a little bit up in Surrey County and Mount Airy. I was talking to someone up there. He said they're having a tough time with those gusty winds earlier as well. They were up to 51 miles per hour, winds in Salem at 40. Most of us had wind gusts between 25 and 45 miles per hour, but here's the good news. No gusts at the moment. They've really quieted down right when that drier air moved into our area. But you might be looking at the radar a little interested, and I can see why. South Carolina has a little burst of snow going on. We're not done completely. That could pivot our way. A lot of times those things dry up on the backside, but who knows? We might be able to get a couple of scattered snow showers that might be more fun for you to look at if you're a snow lover. You could even pick up another ½ inch to an inch or so. That wouldn't shock me a bit. Won't change the impacts at all. All of the roadways are in tough shape. They're likely to stay that way overnight tonight. And as you can tell, we're below freezing, even if just barely. This stuff is not going to melt quickly. Sleet is very hard to move off the pavement because that has a much higher water content than snowflakes do. We're going to be with this for a long time.
While you're watching this, go ahead and take a screenshot of this QR code. At any point today, it will take you to our live team coverage on WFMYnews2.com. We have the latest on the storm in your area and how Triad and state leaders are responding. You can also download the free WFMY News 2 app.
Check out our sky camera view of
Wow.
downtown Greensboro. Can you even tell that it's downtown Greensboro?
Looks like an abstract painting.
It really does. It's actually very pretty, but this is pretty much what is happening in Greensboro right now. The conditions not favorable, and the camera obviously covered up with a lot of wetness, sleet, freezing rain, that kind of thing, as you can see with that photo. Now let's check out a place that is known for ice. This is our live camera at Winterfest, where you go ice skating in downtown Greensboro. This is off Lewis Street. Nobody ice skating right now, and it is covered with snow as well.
One thing that's important to note in that last picture was the trees were not moving. During the height of the storm, they were really gusting around, but that wind has pretty much died down.
Calm down, yes.
Yeah, speaking of calm down, check out this live picture at I-40 at Gallimore Dairy Road. You can see the road right near Colonial Pipeline gas storage tanks. Not a soul on it right now. That's what you want to see. And let's take a live look at High Point, where it is just kind of gloomy and a haze in the air right now.
Crews in Greensboro are busy plowing the city's major roadways. They say they are making progress as this storm starts to move out of our area. WFMY News 2's Grace Holland joins us live now near Wendover Avenue with a look at the conditions there.
Wendover Avenue is one of the better plowed streets that we've seen this evening, but as Tim said, they're all pretty tough to get around on. We've seen some people that have been kind of sliding around at intersections or maybe getting stuck if they're turning onto a side road. And keep in mind, those crews are still coming up and down these roads trying to clear. So if you are going to be out and about, make sure you drive slow and give them plenty of room. And if you're going to be out and about, you should also know there's not a lot of things that are open. Out here on Wendover, there's a lot of restaurants. Almost all of them are closed, but the few that are open are very busy. Vino's Pizza says it's only delivering on foot right now to the hotels that are close by, but the phone is ringing off the hook with pickup orders.
I really honestly like the snow because we get more business. My wife, she was begging me not to come to work, but I told her it's a living. I mean, I don't know what to do. I can't help myself.
The owner says they plan to stay open until 3 a.m., which is their normal business hours, and he expects only to get busier as we get into the evening. He'd like to do more deliveries tonight if the roads get clear, and we did talk to the City of Greensboro's street department about how things are going. They said they're feeling pretty optimistic. They're hoping to move to those priority 2 roads later this evening, maybe on that second shift, which is going to start around 10 p.m. tonight.
That's some great news in the heart of the Triad. Let's get to WFMY News 2's Monique Robinson now, who's hearing from our weather spotter out in Oak Ridge. What's it like out there?
Well, one thing I love about being a part of this WFMY News 2 weather team is our weather spotter network. We're joined now by Wes Grimes, who is currently in Oak Ridge. Wes, what are you seeing?
Now it's just a very light freezing drizzle. No wind, thankfully. And yeah, I mean, we had a lot of sleet today. A lot of sleet, but pretty much calmed down.
Now, you were out earlier today during some of our morning show newscasts. What was it like then as compared to now?
Yeah, I mean, it was, moderate snowfall, very windy, and, cold, 21 degrees. It's kind of, I think it's up to 26 now. So, yeah, almost time to put on the windbreaker instead of the heavy jacket.
Yeah, certainly the windbreakers. It's been quite windy throughout the day today. Now, have you been able to see any roadways in your neck of the woods? Are you seeing any clearing? Are you seeing snow pileups? What are you seeing?
Yeah, our neighborhood, we're not too far off of Highway 68, and it's the roads are in pretty bad condition. I saw an F-350 fishtailing down the road not long ago, struggling. So if they're struggling, I'm not going to try it in my vehicle. And I have heard off in the distance plows running. I can hear them, but I haven't been out to the highway. So.
Now, what I've noticed here around our station is earlier when we had the sleet coming in, it was really heavy, kind of really just sounding like a nasty storm. And then as those sleet pellets got smaller and things lightened up and even transitioned into freezing rain, we almost don't hear anything. Is that the same case for you?
Yeah, it's very silent, very serene right now. So very peaceful.
Yeah, but it's a lot of cleanup that you're probably anticipating and doing the next couple of days.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to melt anytime soon, so going to have to get to it.
Well, thank you so much, Wes, for joining us once again. We always love speaking with you and other weather spotters. We truly enjoy all of your feedback out there. More in our newscast coming up.
We appreciate your insight, Mr. Grimes, and we're talking about that sleet coming down. My husband actually, he did shovel twice. Twice because
oh, poor guy.
Well, we were trying to stay ahead of it, but then it kept coming, and then it was like coming in piles, and we set up a situation where I was hoping to get the tarp to just like kind of tip it over. Not enough.
No,
we needed
too windy for all that.
We needed some manpower. So we were in Oak Ridge right there with Wes Grimes in that live interview with Monique. Now we're going to another part of Guilford County. We are going to High Point now, and that's where we find WFMY News 2's Amber Lake. Amber, how's it looking out there?
Julie, Ben, I'm out here on Eastchester Drive in High Point, and I have some good news for you. It doesn't seem like the sleet is as strong as it was earlier. The wind isn't as strong, but that seems to be the only good news that I have for you, and I'm so sorry about that. The bad news, the roads are horrible. They're absolutely horrible. This is probably the best road that we have found while driving around High Point, and you can still barely see it. We saw a lot of cars stuck in the middle of the road when we were driving around Eastchester and through downtown High Point. We were seeing trucks pulling cars out of the middle of the road because obviously it's dangerous to be out in the middle of the road, and there's still a lot of cars trying to maneuver through this weather. But we saw tons of people trying to help others get unstuck. Now, I talked to the city of High Point earlier, who told me that they haven't been plowing the roads. Instead, they've had crews driving around looking at the conditions, and they will start plowing the roads at 7 o'clock. They haven't been plowing because they've been salting, and they didn't want to plow because there's a potential of creating slicker roads. So they're going to start in less than an hour. So if you are out and about, you will see some of those tow trucks in High Point and in this Guilford County area. Now, as we hit nightfall here in High Point, people could be struggling with power outages. Tom Mix is the CEO of Qualtech, a company used to handle base camp logistics as linemen bring power back on in our area. And Mix said that there are over 11,000 resources across the Carolinas ready to restore power.
This is not something that happened and they got caught by surprise. They were well prepared. They prepared us, and we set up in advance, and that's across the Carolinas.
Mick said there are multiple truck yards like this with crews just waiting on standby to go out and help. He said that they send crews out to assess the damage, and then linemen go out to restore power when it's safe. Now, I was looking on social media earlier, and I saw that if you are in need of shelter or a warming station, there are a couple around High Point. I want to go ahead and give you a couple of those. We have Leslie's House located on 851 West English Road. It's female only, and it's able to have 24 females there. And also the Salvation Army on West Green Street is open to men and women and can house up to 60 people. So if you are in need of shelter or a warming station because you've run out of power, then head to those areas. Now, I will be talking with the city of High Point in just a little bit to get some current conditions on what's happening with the plowing process, the salt process, and I'll have more details coming up at 11.
Amber, thank you. One area that has seen some of the most power outages in the Piedmont Triad, that is in Forsyth County. So we're going to check on that area right now. That's where we find WFMY News 2's Jenna Cruzina live now in Winston-Salem with the latest there.
Hey, Julie, at last check, checking in with Duke Energy, they are under 3,000 power outages here in Forsyth County, but it's been spotty all day for some of the folks here in Winston. Now, to give you a better idea where we're at, here is Research Parkway, and then you have downtown Winston-Salem, and then 421 is the area that we are in right now, but it definitely is feeling a lot better than it did earlier this afternoon around 2 o'clock. That was when that sleet was pelting down very hard and the winds were a lot worse than they are right now. So like Tim mentioned, a little bit calmer, but the roads, they are still not good. You do not want to be on them if you do not have to be. We've been driving around between Kernersville and Winston-Salem, that portion of I-40 off and on all day. Definitely almost like a one lane there. Everybody's kind of trying to stay in the same lines on the right side of the interstate, but still a lot of people out and about. We've seen some close calls. We've seen an accident here and there, and we have seen, several cars spinning out. So definitely stay home if you don't have to go out. But I did check in with Duke Energy. Again, they've been working hard all day trying to help those folks that do have those power outages and get that restored. Take a listen to what they had to say.
They were able to make progress throughout the day. There was some time early on where the winds were pretty strong, but we've really been managing the winds. The threshold is about 35 miles an hour on the wind. So if you're not above that, you can usually be able to get your buckets up. Now, all that to say, it was a really cold day and it never stopped snowing, sleeting, freezing rain. So it's been really challenging work conditions for the crews today, but they've grinded through it and they've made some progress and hopefully got a lot of customers on today.
Ice is definitely the biggest concern for power companies, so we will have to monitor that as we go through the rest of the evening, and we'll continue to check in with them. But again, at last check, less than 3,000 power outages here in Forsyth County. Now again, we're on Research Parkway, and we've seen plows coming through the area off and on this afternoon. I did check in with Forsyth County DOT. They said that they are of course still focusing on the primary roads, the interstates, so that will be their focus as they continue into the night, and then maybe tomorrow hit those secondary housing areas.
Jenna, thank you. So in sum, we do have to be patient here. The winter storm has knocked out power to thousands of people all across the Triad. The most can be found in Forsyth County as well as Surry County. Jenna mentioned this. Duke Energy says nearly 2,900 homes and businesses are in the dark in Forsyth County. Surry County has about 3,300 customers in the dark. Duke is estimating 750,000 customers could lose power across the Carolinas during this winter storm, but things are looking more optimistic now. If you are a Duke Energy customer and you lose power, simply text the word OUT to 57801. Let me repeat that. If you lose power, text the word OUT to 57801. You can also call Duke Energy directly to 1-800-POWER-ON. Again, that phone number is 1-800-POWER-ON. That is to Duke Energy. Keep this in mind, reporting an outage helps the company and you. Just don't think, oh, my neighbor's gonna do it. It's best if you contact them yourself as well, because once you report it, you will get updated information on when your power is due to be restored.
We certainly hope everyone's power gets back on soon, and while the threat of this storm is not totally over yet, it is important to note that a whole lot of people out there had a really good time today in the snow. And so many of you have been sending us your pictures and video through either text message or online. Take a look at this. I've got to show you this gem that was texted into us. One viewer said, "Hey, the winter storm did not cancel my little Johnny's birthday. She had Spider-Man booked to show up, and guess what? In true superhero form, he still came through for the birthday, even in the snow." Not only that, but we also have Gary here, who's 7, riding this sled in Winston-Salem, doing a pretty good job, better than I can do out there, that's for sure. We have so many smiling faces that have been sent in to us, like this little guy. So happy out there. I thought this was genius. Someone used their boogie board in the snow. I'd never thought of that before. Putting that in the memory bank for next time for sure. Lots of snow angels being made across the Triad today too. And look at this snowman. What really gets me are these eyebrows, these thick, thick eyebrows. They put some character on that thing. Someone even built an igloo today in the snow. That took a lot of time, but it definitely paid off. It was really cool. Just look at all these smiling faces out there. If you have more pictures from the storm, we would love to see them. All you have to do is text them to us at 336-379-5775.
That Spider-Man photo, Ben, it is absolutely epic. Such good stuff. Still, continue to send us your videos and your photos. We love seeing them. Tim, here's the thing. Even though we are seeing a lull right now, we don't want people to think as if, you know, we're out of the woods, because the roads out there, they are quite messy. They are
Yeah, exactly right, Julie. What you're trying to say is just that the roads are really not in good shape. We're talking about two major impacts with this storm. One being the roadways, and two being the potential power problems. One of those has been just as bad as expected, the roads. The second, well, actually hasn't been as bad as we thought. The power outages have been relatively in check, and that's good news. You can see a bit of a change in the situation over Greensboro. That last freeze frame, we can chuckle about it, but that is showing us some weather conditions right now. We're seeing what's called freezing rain or freezing drizzle, where it's still below freezing. Notice the air temperature is 27 degrees, and you have a little drizzle outside. Usually not a big deal, but we are coating everything continuously in a light glaze, and that's going to continue. I do not expect at this point we're going to have enough of that to make huge problems, but it is going to make things even slicker than they already are, so keep that in mind. Temperature below freezing pretty much every place except if you're south and to the east. Here's a picture of what that freezing rain is doing in parts of the area. Sherry Pugh, she's down in the Ashboro community. You can see those, they're not water droplets, that's frozen solid, and Also a couple inches of that sleet on the ground as well. We have a break. It's a lull. It's a dry area, whatever you want to call it. It is a break, but there is still some drizzle not being picked up by radar, so we're going to continue to see that happening. There is an intriguing area, I should say, in Georgia and also in South Carolina. This little blob of snowfall is trying to head our way. Could it perform some more snow in our area? It's possible. I don't know if it's likely, but it is possible. It's indicated on this model we use to help us predict things right around the late evening time frame from 10 to 11 and 12. We'll see what happens. If you are lucky, you could get a couple more fun snow showers to finish things off. The wind, thank goodness, has died down for now. It should stay manageable through midnight, but it'll pick up again overnight tonight. So you'll hear this while you're sleeping. Winds gusting between 20 and 30 miles per hour. The mountains are going to be rocking, by the way, with gusts up to 50. It's kind of a typical cold front day tomorrow where we have sunshine, but it'll be very windy and very cold. Hard to melt things when we're not all that warm. Bottom line, chance of maybe a little bit more mixed precipitation this evening, some of that snow and freezing drizzle. Temperatures hanging out right around 30 all night long, and we go into tomorrow. Yeah, let's go into tomorrow. There it is. 38 your high. It is cold. It is windy, and it's not melting anything very much. We're going to stay that way through Tuesday and Wednesday. We may have another system to track for you on Friday. At this point, I honestly don't know.
Ooh, well, speaking of melting or not melting, I did contact the North Carolina DOT because I wanted to ask, if your driveway looks like anything like my driveway, it is
sheet of ice.
It is quite slick out there. And if you have not plowed yet, so I asked the North Carolina DOT just for some tips. What should you do with your driveway that's just kind of like this dangerous slope right there? They said, you know what, we would suggest doing what they do. They plow it and then they say they salt it. So plow, then salt. And another thing is go to our website, WFMYnews2.com. We have an article up about how there are household items in your home that you have ready to go as you can use it for a de-icer.
Our verified team checked this out. It really works.
It works, yes. Yeah. It's just a combination of water, detergent like liquid soap, and some alcohol. So you can read that recipe on our website right now. Very, very easy to do, and it is verified by our verified team.
We do want to show you some more video from today because there were some very dramatic pictures throughout the day. Check out this from northern Greensboro by Lawndale Drive. That snow just kept coming down. You can see a little bit of ice on that tree there, just a little bit. We're glad it didn't get to be more than that yet. But the streets just totally covered in the white powdery stuff today.
And those neighborhoods might have to wait for a little bit until those plows can get to them. Here's some more video from Greensboro. Ooh, we love seeing all that salt. We love to see it spread on the ground. Also a welcome sight. The city tweeted this out of a worker gearing up to put the salt down on the roads. Remember, city crews will treat top priority roads first before moving on to neighborhoods and the side streets.
And here is what they're going to focus on the most. I-40, those big interstates and highways. It is pretty much a standstill there. You see cars off on the side. Our crews captured this. Jeff, the photographer that took this, said it was really dicey at times. There were times when he was driving and fishtailed and went sideways out there. So be really careful if you have to get out and about.
Now let's move to downtown Greensboro. Clearing the roads there, but not with those huge rigs that you see on I-40. Much smaller. Kind of look like golf carts, right? Or maybe some kind of John Deere type of vehicles. Pushing snow out of the streets and the sidewalks, they're getting the job done.
And in Asheboro, one viewer captured why you're encouraged to stay home. A viewer texted this picture into us of a crash. The roads are really slick out there. We reached out to first responders to get an update on any injuries and have not heard back yet. We have heard from Winston-Salem that they've had about 100 calls for service there too. All across the Triad, people having problems on the roads. I do know that some of you on Facebook are saying that you've had some problems too. If you've been out and about today, please share your experience with us so we can get a little more insight into what's out there.
Yes, the 911 call center is also saying a lot of people slipping and sliding and falling because of the slippery conditions out there. In Winston-Salem, there are other dangers as well. A home caught fire during the snowstorm. Firefighters responded to Renolda Drive this afternoon. A detached garage caught fire. The cause has not yet been released. Now over to Thomasville. Check out Janie Darr's backyard covered in snow. That actually looks like a postcard, doesn't it?
So peaceful.
Very pretty. Robbie Terre in Thomasville sent us this picture of her dog, that is Dixie, bundled up in the snow.
A whole lot of people woke up to this sight, like in Alamance County. Snow, sleet. They said they had some strong winds too. This is one of our viewers' backyards out there. Again, when you see that and you don't have to leave the house, it's just really pretty.
Right, and the smart thing to do, just hunker down and enjoy it. Look at it from your living room, that kind of thing. Now to Oak Ridge, more of the same. We're showing you so many photos because we love getting these pictures from you. One of our weather spotters, Wes Grimes, sent us these pictures. A lot of snow all over his yard. Look at that.
Looks like the Home Alone house back there too.
It really does. That looks like prime snowman making snow over there. But you know, once the sleet came and then it compacted everything.
And it got muddy and gross.
That sleet and all that wind. Whew.
It was just a gray day for most of the day across the Triad.
It started pretty. Then it changed, yes.
In Caswell County, NCDOT crews, they have already started clearing those roads too. That area saw several inches of snow and sleet. Crews will continue working to clean up all roads over the Triad all night long. Look at the job they have left to do there.
Yes, Ben, I'm going to read the script. I want you to get closer because I'm not wearing my readers and I have a hard time reading that. In Rockingham County, this photo is taken at the Rockingham Caswell County Lounge. They're
we got like 6 inches there, Julie.
Okay, thank you, because I was looking at this photo and I said, I cannot read that. Thank you so much. About 6 inches in the southern part of our Triad. I mean, in the northern Rockingham, sorry. I was get my direction wrong.
That's enough when you step in it, you really sink down. It's kind of tough to walk
Maybe
through.
that was before the sleet came too.
In Wilkesboro, they saw some of the most snow though. Several inches dumped onto the area. A viewer texted us these pictures over there. Yeah, I would not get in that car. I would just stay home.
So we were looking at that photo that was hard for me to read with that ruler out there. Monique, you have more accurate snow totals for us because my vision, not the best.
Yes, we're able to get some of that data in over the last several hours as this storm system continues to move to the north and east. A lot of those reports have been coming into us. Things quiet now, but as our chief meteorologist Tim Buckley mentioned earlier, we could see a burst of snow as we go into tonight. But like I said, storm reports, we're starting to get them in across our area. This is a look over the last 6 hours. If I brought it back in time to last 24 hours, you would see even more of these icons across central Piedmont area. But I'm going to zoom into some of these to get some details on them. Take a look at this. At 2:54 p.m. report of sleet in Rockingham County, particularly in Reedsville, about 0.8 inches of sleet accumulation there. Drawing our eyes over to Guilford County and Colfax, where there was a combination here. We've seen all of this across the area, a combination of snow, sleet. Now, when you look here in particularly Colfax, though, 3 inches total of that mix of sleet and snow as of 1:45 p.m. Going all the way over to Surrey County, right around Pilot Mountain, a total of 0.1 inches of sleet around 5 p.m. But we have more snow totals for you there. Dobson, totaling at 5 inches of snowfall. Now, some of these are snowfall sleet combinations, but overall, when you walk outside and you see white, this is how much of it you're going to see. 5 inches there in Dobson, Boonville at 4 inches, Lawsonville 3 inches, another report there in Stokes County, Eden there at 2.5 inches of snowfall, Pathtown at 2 inches, Clemens 2 inches, 1.5 in Greensboro. So we've been seeing blankets of white across the entire central North Carolina area, and we look western areas. I mean, western North Carolina has been seeing significant amount of snowfall for today. But as we go into tonight, that snowfall total could increase just slightly before we end out this Sunday. We've seen also some very significant wind reports across the area throughout this day. Mount Airy topping things off at 51 miles per hour wind gusts. That's a pretty strong wind gust. Winston-Salem not too far away from it at 40 miles per hour. Overall, these are all extremely strong winds. Now, they've been dying down as we go into tonight, but Monday morning, we could be seeing some more strong wind gusts across the area.
Some of you on Facebook sharing great updates with us too. The lights are starting to come back on for some people. Marvina writes, our power was off, but thankfully it was only for a few hours. Thanks to all the linemen and people, please stay safe.
Ironically, I just checked the Duke Energy website, and Duke Energy is now reporting that 1,400 customers in Guilford County do not have power. Keep in mind, throughout the day, Guilford County has been faring very well. So this update, again, 1,400 homes and businesses in Guilford County without power. That is the most we have seen in Guilford County. Also a lot in Forsyth County with nearly 3,000.
And don't forget, they've got all those crews ready to go as soon as they can get the bucket trucks up once those winds have died down like Monique was talking about. So hopefully they'll be able to get from the Four Seasons Town Center over to those outages soon.
Exactly. They have a lot of people mobilized here. Let's check on the road conditions. You're asking about the interstates. What about major roadways? Let's check on I-40 and Wendover Avenue with WFMY News 2's Grace Holland joining us live now along Wendover Avenue. Grace.
Well, I'm right here on Wendover Avenue near the intersection with Stanley Drive, and I got to tell you, in the last few minutes since we were just talking to you, we have seen a couple people who have had some issues, those spinning tires, if they've tried to get back onto Wendover Avenue, and I can show you real quick why. First of all, we've had that drizzle starting, and you can even see a glaze starting over the ice. And right here you can see this is kind of fluffy ice right here. It's easy to dig into, but if I put my foot down right here, you can see how slippery that is on top, and it's because of that freezing rain that is starting to fall a little bit. Again, it's a light drizzle. As Tim said, not as much as we were thinking we might get, but it's still out there, and definitely heading into the evening, we're starting to see more issues with people slipping. So be careful if you're going to be out, and try not to go out if you can. You know, we were talking to some restaurants earlier today, a lot of pizza places and different delivery places. Now, they may not be doing delivery because of this, but they may actually be asking you to do carryout. Just try to stay home if you can, and keep in mind that these roads are slick. It's going to take some time for road crews to be able to get them back up and going. We talked to the city of Greensboro, and they told us that as this precipitation stops falling, they're going to have an easier time getting out onto the roads that they've been working, mostly these major roads like Wendover Avenue, Gate City Boulevard, all those big name roads that you travel a lot. But after a while, they're hoping tonight to be able to start working on those priority 2 roads. So maybe some of the middle roads between some of those big roads that you might drive on. And we're going to continue to keep you updated on how all of that is going and see how the crews are working.
What a great demonstration there, the 2 types of snow on the ground. It really makes a difference when you're out driving.
Exactly, but you know, you've seen it, and we keep telling you about it. Here's the difference. Remember, earlier this month we did have snow, right?
It was beautiful.
It was
gone
beautiful,
quickly.
right? Because remember, we had all that warmth. Here's the difference. We are 26 degrees, and we're going to be staying very, very cold. So that is the difference. It's not a matter of like, oh look, the sleet has stopped. I can get out and about. That's not the case. We still have some dangerous conditions on the roadways.
Which means it's going to stretch into tomorrow and possibly further on too. And that's why we want to keep checking around the Triad. The last time we checked with Amber Lake and High Point, she said the roads were, quote, absolutely awful. And I imagine they're getting worse, Amber.
Right, so out here on East Chester Drive in High Point, I mean, we've been out here for about an hour or so, and we've already seen some cars fishtailing across the road. We've seen them stuck. We've seen them rolling and spinning some tires. It's just not good conditions for driving. So obviously, if you don't need to get out, stay home. If you do, make sure that you're driving slow. Take your time and keep your distance from other cars. I reached out to the city of High Point, who said that they will start plowing these roads in High Point around 7 o'clock, which is just a little bit. So if you are out and about and you see these crews, make sure that you move over and give them space. They haven't been plowing because they wanted to make sure they weren't going to make it a little bit slipperier than it is right now. So they wanted to wait until some of the conditions got a little bit better before they started plowing this area. But before I send it back to you, I want to show you this snow is perfect. If you were able to get out and play in it today, I know that my nieces and nephews were out playing all day. My fiance made snow cream. This is a perfect snowball, guys, a perfect snowball. And I'm gonna throw it out. My cameraman, Jalen. So we're about to have a snowball war out here. So if you were able to get out and have some fun, that's awesome. You might still have tomorrow to do that too. Again, this snow is very compactful, so it's great for snowball fights and for snowmen. So if you're out having a good time, keep on. I'm gonna send it back. Woo! I'm gonna send it back to you.
Good job, Jalen!
Here's the thing, Jalen Gilkey is a former baseball player, so I'm going to assume that Jalen was the one
Amber's
who's going
got
to
some
get...
softball in her too.
It looked like Jalen's the one who had some more strength behind
It was that surprise attack.
Look at that, Amber was being sweet. Jalen's like, no, I am not holding back. Jalen, funny stuff. All right, let's continue our coverage now. We are now heading over to Forsyth County to check on the conditions there. That's where we find WFMY News Chief's Jenna Kurzina live in Winston-Salem.
Hopefully safe from snowballs.
Hey, Julie and Ben, and I already told my photographer, do not hit me with a snowball because I'm not about that today. But we are a little bit of the exception out here on Research Parkway in Winston-Salem. We're in between Research Parkway downtown and 421. The roads are fairly clear right here on Research Parkway, but don't let that fool you, because just because it's clear, especially with the temperatures dropping and it becoming nightfall, that doesn't mean there can't be black ice on here. And also, a positive here, you know, we're pulled off on the road safely to do our live shot. We have had cop cars, sheriff's officers, random strangers, just neighbors being good neighbors, checking on us to make sure that we weren't broken down because they didn't see our equipment just yet. So everybody has been very nice. And one of the ladies who checked on us to make sure we weren't broken down, you know, said she had helped out, you know, 4 or 5 different cars to make sure that they either had a way home or waited on them until they had somebody to pick them up and get safely. So you definitely don't want to be one of those people that are stuck on the side of the road because you just wanted to see what the roads looked like. So if you can, we've said it time and time again, stay home if you don't have to go out. But definitely the wind, not as bad as it was earlier. Checked in with Duke Power, Duke Energy. They're saying, you know, less than 3,000 power outages here in Forsyth County. And we also checked in with Forsyth County DOT. They said that, you know, right now their primary focus will remain on the interstates and those primary roads. They're hoping for tomorrow to maybe hit some of those secondary and neighborhood areas. But I'm going to send things back to you, and don't think about it. My photographer is trying to hit me with a snowball. I'm not going to let it happen.
Nice dodge there. Hey, I want to show you some of those neighborhood roads that you guys have been sharing on social media with us. Take a look at this that was sent in. Roads are definitely not looking good. Mailbox hit down. Someone slid off into their mailbox there in the neighborhood. Be careful, they are really icy, especially going around the corners. And I noticed driving in a lot of people walking out and around, so you've got to be really careful of them. Even on I-40, there's some pretty sloppy spots. Our photographer Jeff filmed this earlier today right before sun went down. He said it was really tough not to fishtail out there and at some points go sideways. And we've got NCDOT Triad area saying Caswell County looks more suitable for skiing than driving today. I think they're right. It is like a sheet of ice out there, even on the main roads in that area. Look at this dramatic video from over in the Triangle area of a power line that started sparking today during the storm. It really shows how some of those outages can happen fast. But luckily, we did get this sent in to us from a viewer who said, my sister's son works for Light Company. This is in Asheboro. Look at them up on this frigid, snow-covered pole. We are so thankful for all of them being out there to help with us and help get the lights back on. And before we go from these social media pictures, I want to show you just one really pretty postcard picture. Wake Forest University covered in snow. It was gorgeous.
You could say it is picture perfect. Ben, thank you so much. Let's get a check now again on the outages across the Piedmont Triad. Looking at the numbers right now, according to Duke Energy, the most right now still remains in Forsyth County with about 3,000 outages. There is some progress being made over in Surry County. With that number has gone down to about 1,100 homes and businesses without power. And also, I mentioned just moments ago that Guilford County is now reporting about 1,400 outages. Let me just double check that again. That is correct, about 1,440. Still no update though regarding when power will be restored to that area. Keep in mind, if your power does go out, it is so easy for you to report it. All you have to do is text the word out to 57801. Let me repeat that. Text the word out to 57801. You can also call Duke Energy at 1-800-POWER-ON. Again, 1-800-POWER-ON. It's so important for you to call or you to contact Duke Energy, because don't rely on your neighbor saying, oh, you know, I've already done it. It's always good that they know who has lost the power, and then you can get updates. I do this all the time. You can get text messages right to your phone, and they give you updates in real time when they get the details. So it's always great to know, because you know what, you know how it is. You want to know when is your power going to be back on.
Absolutely. You need to know if I can stay at home tonight, or I need to find a hotel. I got to go stay with friends. Also, it's important to keep in mind that these power outages are awful for the people that are going through them right now. But compared to what Duke Energy was predicting for the Carolinas, they've been talking about 750,000 people projected without power across the Carolinas. So this is a lot less than we were expecting.
And we are not complaining about that. Fewer power outages, yes please, we'll take it all day long. And also keep in mind, remember, Duke Energy, they brought in 11,000 workers and placed them all across the Carolinas to be able to respond to the bad areas. So the manpower and the woman power, it was there. So it's great to know that if it happens, they're going to be on top of it. Like I said, with Surry County, just about an hour ago, they had 3,300 outages. Now they're down to about 1,100. So that is a major progress.
That is what we like to see, for sure.
Exactly, and I'll keep my eye on what's happening in Guilford County and those numbers there, and in Forsyth County. Speaking of Guilford County Schools canceled all athletic and after-school activities tomorrow because, you know, the weather. You can see why from this image at Southern Guilford High School.
I don't think anyone's running the bleachers there.
I don't think so. You should just stay away from that for right now. The snow covering the entire campus. Activities are also canceled for Tuesday. GCS says they will continue to monitor conditions to determine if more changes are necessary. Keep in mind, there is no class tomorrow and Tuesday as previously scheduled. Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools also says they will not have any extracurriculars tomorrow. The district says roads just are not safe to drive on, and we've been telling you throughout this newscast. School is already canceled tomorrow for Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
And it's not just roads. Airlines canceled thousands of flights as the winter storm pummeled the East Coast, including right here at the Piedmont Triad International Airport in Greensboro. PTI is open today, but again, dozens of flights have been impacted. Airport officials say it is best to check over the next few days to see if your flight's been changed. Remember, the storm is not just here, it is all across the eastern coast right now. So if you're flying somewhere else, they might have problems. Worth checking before you head out there. Flights have also been canceled at RDU and at Charlotte International.
The bad weather impacting COVID testing and vaccine locations. StarMed canceled its sites tomorrow, including the one at the Four Seasons Town Center in Greensboro. Cone Health also shut down its vaccine and testing sites for tomorrow. This impacts 6 locations in the Triad, including 2 in Greensboro. You can reschedule on Cone Health's website.
North Carolina DOT wants to make the roads as safe as possible tonight and throughout after the winter storm. Part of that process is implementing what they're calling a quick clearance process. And here's exactly what that means, that protocol. If you leave your car on the side of a highway, a road, a shoulder, whatever, the DOT and the State Highway Patrol can legally remove it. The department explains that quick clearance makes the roads safer for drivers who might lose control of their cars, and it prevents accidental damage to your abandoned vehicle. If your abandoned car gets towed within city limits, just call local police. If it's outside of city limits, call Highway Patrol.
If you or someone you know needs a warm place to stay during the storm, a warming center is open in Greensboro. The Interactive Resource Center opened the shelter at First Baptist Church on West Friendly Avenue in Greensboro. Anybody can come and stay there without any restrictions. This warming center is open through noon tomorrow. That has changed. It was 7 a.m. Now it's noon, and then it's going to be reopening again tomorrow night at 8 p.m.
26 degrees out there. You definitely want that. The winter storm is also causing some operational changes for public transportation. Burlington's Link Transit system will be closed tomorrow due to the winter storm. Link Transit will resume operations on Tuesday if conditions allow. We're going to keep you updated on that one. Winston-Salem Transit Authority also suspended their service at 1 p.m. today. The city of Winston-Salem tweeted out that announcement. Road conditions have gotten slick all over the Triad, they said. They just couldn't drive safely. Service remains closed tomorrow because of the holiday, too.
Tim, I'm concerned, I shouldn't say concerned, I'm interested to see if we're going to get another burst of snow because you're watching something to our south.
Yeah, I think it might be a fun couple of hours as we go through the rest of this evening. I did want to quickly explain, though, just kind of the makeup differences between snow and sleet. We know a snowflake, we make them out of paper as kids, and you know, they're an emoji. You know what a snowflake looks like, right? We have all these little crystals. It truly is made up of crystals with a lot of surface area. That's a snowflake. A sleet pellet is not elegant at all. It's literally just a small ball of solid, dense ice. So why am I telling you all of this? This is very easy to melt if it gets even a little warm outside. Snow melts. Sleet likes to hang around. It is not as easy to get off of the ground. So what I'm telling you is over the next couple of days, we may be a little frustrated with how much sleet remains on our unplowed neighborhood roadways. Just keep that in mind. There is a reason why it's staying around longer than you might expect if it were snowfall. Let's take a look at that fun snow that's happening right now in South Carolina. So they're just like us, by the way. They had snow, then it changed to sleet, then freezing rain. Now back to snow. How is that happening? Well, that warm air that was over our heads today that made the sleet happen, that's gone away as low pressure has moved on. So now they're getting some wraparound snowfall in that area. It's moving towards Charlotte. It's moving up 85 later. If it holds together, and I cannot guarantee this, we might have a couple hours of fun snow. We'll keep an eye on it for you. I would expect it to be over with by around midnight or so. It may even put down some light accumulation. The impact, there's no impact because we already have bad roads. It's not going to make them any worse. They're already bad. Here we have tomorrow. Your roads will be bad in the morning, that's for sure. Temperatures will be right around that freezing mark. It's actually not getting colder overnight. We're basically going to have a same temperature all the way along, right there in the upper 20s, and we will not warm up very quickly on Monday. Our high temperature is right around 35 degrees. We have clearing sky with some sunshine moving in. And that'll be our only hope at melting things. You need that sun to help us out. We'll be in the 40s come Tuesday and Wednesday. Later on this week, we may have another system to track. I have not thought anything about it. We will let you know when we figure it out.
We're doing one storm system at a time. I was just going to say that. I know you at home, you're thinking yourselves, okay, I'm kind of done with today's weather. I want to get out and about. Here's the thing, we've been saying this, you've seen the video, you've seen our live pictures, the roads not in great shape right now. And Ben, you're working on something so people can monitor when their road might be ready to drive.
I mean, the boss could be texting you saying you got to come to work tomorrow and you want to know what it's going to be like before you get out there. So on our website, we actually have this link to traffic cameras all over the Triad, and you can search for near your neighborhood. All you have to do is look on WFMYnews2.com for the story, use these cameras to see the road conditions near you, and there's a step-by-step guide how to do it.
Very, very smart, but again, we've been saying that these emergency crews, they go to the primary roads first. We're talking about the roads that emergency vehicles use. So getting to the side streets and getting to the neighborhoods, we just ask you, please be patient. Understand that some of these agencies are also seeing staffing issues. There's Omicron, some people are out because of that. So please be patient. They haven't forgotten about you. They'll get to you. It's just, there's a lot of roadway to cover too.
The best update that I think came out of this last newscast was that Grace Holland said she talked with the city crews and they're going to try to move to priority 2 before the end of tonight.
Progress.
That's a big deal. And I think it's a good sign for this storm.
Very, very promising. Thank you so much for joining us for this special edition of our winter weather coverage. We'll see you again tonight on WFMY News 2 to 11. We'll see you then. Be safe.